A very long time ago, when whispers spread through the land as though they were town gossip, there stood a small village. In that village, two young girls crossed paths in a way that forever bound their destinies. One of them was Udu, a frail-looking child, timid in every step, with eyes that always seemed to carry tears as if sorrow lived there permanently. One bright afternoon, Puju went to fetch water from the village stream. She balanced her clay pot carefully on her head, walking steadily. But midway, two notorious boys with heads that gleamed like freshly polished cocoyam decided it was her turn to suffer. "Look at her hair, like a chicken stripped of feathers," one sneered, shoving her pot until it slipped, rolled away, and shattered on a rock. Udu instantly broke into tears, crouching helplessly beside the broken pot. Then suddenly, a voice pierced through the air, sharp as a machete cutting bamboo. "So this is how you waste your strength, tormenting little girls at the stream? Shame on you." That voice belonged to Omalika, bold, radiant, and stubborn. Even as a child, she feared no one. Snatching a long stick from the ground, she pointed it at the bullies and barked, "If I flog you, your mothers will deny you in the village square." Startled by her fire, the boys hissed and bolted. One muttered as he ran, "One day, that mouth of yours will land you in trouble." Omalika bent down, wiped Uda's tears, and said firmly, "Sister, don't mind those foolish goats. If they disturb you again, call me. I'll scatter their teeth." From that day forward, Uda's eyes lit up as though she had found her savior. She clung to Omalika everywhere, whether to the stream, the farm, or the moonlight games. She became like her shadow, clapping at her jokes, nodding at every suggestion. If Omalika said, "Let's chase those goats out of Mama Yudo's garden," Udu would quickly agree, even though she feared goats more than spirits. Their bond became so close that villagers often joked, "Where you see Omalika, just know Udu is nearby, like a snail and its shell." They cracked palm nuts together, roasted corn side by side, and joined other children to sing and dance under the moon. Everyone laughed whenever Omalika led the songs, for she danced with a boldness far beyond her years. Meanwhile, Udu only clapped and followed shyly from behind. But here's the truth about life. When children grow up together, their hearts don't always grow in the same direction. Omalika loved Udu dearly, like a sister born from the same womb. She never said no to her. She was her shield, her friend, her everything. But as time passed, the two little girls who once chased dragonflies soon blossomed into maidens with jingling anklets and bright waist beads. Let me ask you, my friend, if a mango tree and a pawpaw tree grow side by side, do they bear the same fruit? Never. That's how their paths began to divide. Omalika's life flowed smoothly, like palm oil melting on hot yam. The elders praised her endlessly, as though they were paid marketers. "Chai, this girl will break hearts across villages," they'd exclaim. At the market, strangers offered her gifts. Women waved fruits at her, urging her to eat and glow brighter. Hunters even laid antelopes at her feet just for a smile. But Udu struggled. She would polish her face with oil until it shone like a newly waxed shoe. She tied her wrapper tightly, showing off her beads, yet no eyes turned her way. Men's gazes skipped her like potholes on a bad road, landing only on Omalika. One market day, the humiliation was too much. Both girls had just arrived with baskets when a group of young men rushed over. "Let me carry it," one cried. "No, give it to me, my back is stronger," another argued. They nearly tore Omalika's basket apart in their eagerness. Right beside them, Udu cleared her throat. "Excuse me, I'm also carrying something. Don't you see?" One of the boys glanced at her and replied casually, "Ah, but you're strong. You can manage." Then he snatched Omalika's basket like treasure and walked ahead proudly. Udu froze, stunned. "So me, I'm just strong? Strong women don't deserve help." Omalika laughed innocently. "At least it means you're not weak. Come, let's share the load. Hold one side while I hold the other." But Udu only flashed her teeth in a fake smile. Inside, her heart burned. Slowly, a seed of inferiority began to sprout. Whenever elders praised Omalika's beauty, "Oh, this child will shatter hearts," Udu's chest tightened. Whenever boys rushed to carry Omalika's water pot unasked, Udu's teeth clenched quietly. Still, she never voiced it. She laughed, ate roasted yam, and shared the gifts. Then came one moonlit evening. The village square erupted in dance and laughter. Men whistled, women clapped, elders rose to watch. "If Omalika dances again, I'll gift her a fat goat," one man shouted. And when she danced, the square nearly caught fire. But when Uda's turn came, she bent low, shaking her waist till her beads nearly snapped. The crowd only clapped politely, the kind of clap given when food isn't sweet, but no one wants to offend the cook. On their way home, Omalika bubbled with joy. "Did you hear? They promised me a goat. Imagine if I collected all the goats these men keep promising. Our compound would turn into a farm. You'll help me chase them, eh?" she laughed. "Yes, that's good." Uda forced a smile. But in her mind she hissed, "So I'll be chasing goats while you're chasing hearts? God forbid." Another day, under the great Odala tree, Omalika sat like a queen. Men fanned her with palm fronds, one offered cola, another played his flute all evening. "If you marry me," one boasted, "I'll build you the finest hut with a door that opens by itself." "Don't mind him," another cut in. "If you marry me, I'll fetch water for you, even if the stream moves to the next village." Everyone laughed. Omalika covered her face shyly. A few steps away, Uda sat on a low stone, her chest heaving. She muttered under her breath, "So again all for her. Am I a tree? Am I air, invisible to everyone? Why always her, never me?" That night, when the village slept, Udu crept out. The moon dimmed as though suspicious of her journey. She passed the stream, the farms, and reached the edge of the forbidden forest. There, in a crumbling hut, lived the Dibia, a strange man with one eye smaller than the other. His skin coated in white chalk, his laughter like stones tumbling down a hill. Udu greeted nervously. Good evening, Dibia." He squinted. "Udu, daughter of. Why are you here at this hour?" She swallowed hard. I came for help. Please, I need help." The man chuckled darkly. "Help is never free. What do you seek?" Uda hesitated, then whispered, "I want my friend Omalika to stop shining. Everywhere, it is her. I want people to fear her. I want them to run from her." The Dibia leaned forward, his voice chilling. "Ah, so envy has brought you here. And envy, my child, is a powerful door. But remember, when the wind blows too hard, it scatters even the owner's wrapper. Please, sir, give me something, anything." Uju's eyes flickered wildly as the Dibia dipped his hand into a black calabash and pulled out a small, cloth-wrapped charm, dark as midnight itself. He pressed it firmly into her palm and said, "Rub this onto her clothes. From that day forward, no man will ever admire her beauty. Instead, all they will see is a masquerade dancing before their eyes." Uju gasped. "A masquerade?" "Yes. Her face will twist into their worst fear. They will scatter like frightened chickens in the rain." A slow smile spread across Uju's lips as excitement bubbled in her chest. She could already picture it. Omalika sitting gracefully, then suddenly, Suitors screaming and running in terror. For the first time in her life, Uju felt powerful. "Thank you, Dibia," she whispered, clutching the charm tightly. But the man leaned closer, his voice low and heavy. "Never forget. Envy is like fire on dry grass. Sometimes it burns the target. Sometimes it burns the hand that lit it. Be careful." Uju ignored him and walked away. Under the moonlight, she chuckled softly. "Let's see if she will shine now. Let's see if her smile will still lure men like goats. From tonight, her beauty is finished." It didn't take long for the charm to ignite. At first, it almost seemed amusing. One fine evening, Omalika went to the village square with Ib, a handsome farmer who had been chasing her for weeks, fetching her water pots, bringing her roasted meat. That night, beneath the shade of the Odala tree, he finally confessed shyly, "If you agree to be my wife, I will plant 7 ridges of cassava for you. Hunger will never touch your stomach." Omalika smiled, about to answer, when suddenly Ib's face froze. His eyes widened like a cracked calabash. "Masquerade!" he screamed, tumbling backwards, then sprinted so fast he left even his sandals behind. The entire square erupted in laughter. "Ah, poor Ib has finally drunk rotten palm wine," one boy shouted. Another shook his head. This one has surely gone mad." Omalika sat there in shock, her hand on her face. "Chinik, what did he see? Did I grow horns overnight?" But that was just the beginning. The following week, another suitor named Dyke took her for a stroll by the stream. A proud young man, he often boasted about his strength. "If you marry me, O Malika, I will carry you across this stream on my back every market day," he bragged. Before O Malika could laugh, Dyke's eyes bulged. "Ah, spirit wife. Leave me. Leave me alone," he screamed, bolting into the bushes. Rumors spread like harmattan fire. At the palm wine joint, men whispered, "Stay far from her. She is a spirit's wife." Another added, "Yes, any man who goes near her never returns the same. One even lost his slippers. Who knows what the next one will lose?" Poor O Malika's heart broke. Alone, she wondered why every suitor ran from her without explanation. "Am I cursed?" One evening, she asked her mother with trembling voice, "Mama, what is wrong with me? Whenever a man comes close, he runs as if he saw a ghost." Her mother rubbed her back gently. "My daughter, sometimes the wind blows dust into good people's eyes. It is not your fault. Let them go." Meanwhile, Uju shone like the morning sun. Men who once ignored her now flocked around, carrying her loads, buying her meat, gifting her new clothes. They praised even her waist beads as though she had invented them. One evening, as O Malika approached Uju's hut cheerfully, she said, "Uju, let's go to the village square. The drummers are already warming their drums." But Uju pretended to be busy, pounding peppers furiously. "Oh, Malika, sorry. I have work. Maybe tomorrow." The next day, O Malika asked again. "Uju, come, let's fetch water together." This time, Uju turned away. "I'm too tired. Go on. I'll join later." O Malika began to notice. Her friend, who once followed her like a shadow, was slowly drifting away. But her heart was pure. She thought, maybe Uju is just busy. She still loves me as a sister. But while O Malika carried confusion, Uju carried a spotlight that was never truly hers. The charm had worked too well. The maiden once adored was now mocked as the village's spirit wife. Every evening, O Malika returned home with swollen eyes. Some nights, she sat by the hearth, staring into the flames until her roasting yam nearly burned. Other times, she buried her face in her wrapper, sobbing quietly. The joy that once glowed in her like sunrise had vanished. One night, her mother could no longer endure it. She sat beside her daughter, lifting her chin. "My child, why do you cry every day? Tell me, did someone flog you at the square? Or is that thing still happening?" Through tears, O Malika whispered, "Yes, Mama. I don't understand it. Whenever a man comes near, he screams and flees as though I'm a ghost. They never explain why." Her mother's eyes narrowed in fear. "My daughter, this is not ordinary. Someone has tampered with your beauty." "But who, Mama? I have no enemies." Her mother shook her head. It is not always strangers who poison the soup. Sometimes it is the one who eats with you from the same plate. But let us not guess. Tomorrow, we will go to my brother. He is a chief priest in the next village. His eyes see beyond what men can see." At dawn, they set off through narrow footpaths until they reached the sacred compound of A4, her mother's brother, the great chief priest. A4 was tall and lean, his beard white as cotton wool. His skin was smeared with chalk, his hut heavy with the scent of herbs and rattles. When they entered, he studied them silently, then burst into a booming laugh. "Ah, my sister, I know why you have come. Your daughter's tears have reached even the ears of the spirits." Mama O Malika bowed. "My brother, help us. My daughter suffers. Men run from her as if she is a masquerade." The priest nodded. "Let me see." He spread cowries on a mat, chanted, and shook his rattle. The shells danced, rolled, and settled. His face grew dark. "My child, it is not you they fear. It is what they see when they look at you. Someone close placed a charm. To every man's eyes, you appear as a terrifying masquerade." "GMO." O Malika gasped. "Who would do such a thing? I have never harmed even a fly." Okafor leaned forward. "The hand that betrayed you is not far. In fact, it is your friend." O Malika staggered back. No. You must be wrong. Uju is my sister. She would never." Her mother cut in quickly. "I suspected it. That girl's eyes have burned with envy for years." The priest raised his hand. Do not be afraid. The charm has already begun to turn against her. At the appointed time, her wickedness will be revealed. But first, let us cleanse you so your true beauty can shine again. He brought herbs, sacred chalk, and a calabash of stream water. As he prayed, he marked Omalika's arms and poured the water over her head. Finally he smiled. My daughter, it is done. You are free. Walk proudly, Omalika. The sun that envy tried to cover will rise again. And when Uju's day comes, the gods themselves will be the drummers. Omalika bowed her head, tears of relief streaming down her cheeks. Her mother patted her gently and said, My daughter, wipe your tears, for the one who digs a pit for you has already reserved a seat inside it. And so they left and returned home. The following week marked Yukolo's Grand New Yam Festival. And in Yukolo, this was no ordinary celebration. It stretched across 7 full days and stood as the very pride of the people. It was the season when maidens adorned themselves like polished calabash, stepping forward to dance gracefully before elders, chiefs, and suitors who had traveled from near and far. But that year, the biggest talk of the village wasn't about the fresh yams, nor the masquerade parade, nor even the overflowing palm wine. Instead, whispers circled everywhere. Let's see if she'll turn into a masquerade again, one woman murmured as she adjusted her headscarf. If she does, I swear on my mother's grave, she is no ordinary girl. She is a spirit's wife, another replied. By afternoon, the village square was brimming with excitement. Drummers tuned their skins, suitors brushed the dust from their sandals, and children squeezed forward, eager to witness what would unfold. The maidens lined up, their wrappers sparkling in the sun, waist beads jingling with each step. Uju stood tall, chin lifted proudly, smiling like a queen already crowned. Beside her was Omalika, silent, yet radiant. Her skin glowed from the cleansing water her priestly uncle had poured over her. When her name was called, Omalika stepped forward. The crowd let out a collective gasp. Look at her glow, someone shouted. Ha! Isn't this the same girl they claim turned into a masquerade? Another marveled. And so, the performance began. Let me tell you, my friends, Omalika moved like flowing light. Every step was soft but powerful. Her claps and waist sways filled with grace. She shone brighter than the festival torches themselves. Not a single man trembled in fear at the thought of a masquerade. Instead, suitors leaned in closer, whispering eagerly, That's my wife. No, she's mine. If I don't marry her, may yams never grow on my farm again. The elders nodded in approval. Even the chief from a neighboring town whispered to his servant, Mark that maiden. If she agrees, I will take her home. Omalika finished her dance to thunderous applause. The people cheered. She has returned. Our daughter is back. Her heart swelled with joy. Then it was Uju's turn. She stepped forward boldly, smiling with confidence as though victory was already hers. Winking at a cluster of suitors, she adjusted her wrapper stylishly and whispered to herself, Today they will forget Omalika. Tonight is my night to find a husband. The drums thundered, and she began to dance. She twisted her waist with wild energy, moving as though she wanted to outshine everyone. But then something strange happened. The square suddenly fell silent. Masquerade! Masquerade! A young boy screamed. Another man dropped his calabash of palm wine in shock. Children shrieked and clung tightly to their mothers. Before their very eyes, Uju's wrapper tore into strands of raffia. Her once smooth skin roughened, and her voice sank into a haunting chant. Where a maiden once stood, a full-grown masquerade now stomped and spun uncontrollably in the square. Jesus of Nazareth! A woman screamed as she fled. This is an abomination, an elder cried, nearly toppling from his stool. Even the chief from the next village staggered back in horror. Is this what they are giving us as wives? He lamented. But poor Uju had no idea. In her mind, she still believed she was dancing beautifully. Smiling, she clapped along to the beat, unaware that what sounded like music to her was, to everyone else, terrifying masquerade chants. Her final move froze hearts. She blew a kiss at the crowd. Half of them fainted on the spot. Drummers dropped their sticks, and the square erupted into chaos. Finally, the Agui, the king of the village, rose with his staff trembling in his hand. My people, he declared, the gods have spoken. This masquerade has chosen its bride, and her name is Uju. She belongs no longer to humans, but to the spirits. Before Uju could protest, members of the masquerade society rushed forward. They seized her, lifted her onto their shoulders, and vanished into the forest. Her screams rang out as she kicked and struggled, shouting, "It's me, I am Uju, not a masquerade." But to everyone else, all that remained was the booming, terrifying voice of a masquerade fading into the night. Many villagers believed she would be cleansed and returned. But no, when the gods catch a thief in their barn, they do not release her. They make her the guard. For 3 nights, the forest echoed with chilling cries. Sometimes in the dead of night, villagers heard Uju's voice begging, "Please, it's me, Uju. Somebody help me." But every plea dissolved into spine-chilling masquerade chants, sending mothers clutching their children tightly. The elders warned sternly, no one must answer. Anyone who followed that voice would never return. Meanwhile, Omalika's name was restored. Chiefs and suitors who once mocked her now came crawling back. But Omalika had grown wiser. She turned many of them away. "Where were you when I cried?" she asked. "If you run from rain, don't expect sunshine to dry your clothes." She waited patiently for a man who could love her for more than just her beauty. As for Uju, her fate only darkened. On the 7th day, when the masquerades returned to the square to close the festival, a new one danced among them. Tall, fierce, and strangely familiar. The villagers gasped. "Is that not Uju's waist beads?" One whispered. "Aye. It is her. The charm has consumed her completely," another groaned. The masquerade chanted and stomped, the raffia around its waist jingling with the same beads Uju once boasted of. The elders shook their heads. She is no longer human. She has become the very masquerade she wished upon her friend. From then on, whenever festivals came, Uju danced among the spirits, faceless, trapped, her beauty lost forever. Mothers used her tale to warn their daughters. Envy your friends, and you might end up a masquerade with waist beads for eternity. Omalika, on the other hand, eventually married a worthy suitor, chosen not for his flattery but for his love. Her wedding was glorious, her happiness restored. Yet, whenever the drums of masquerade season echoed, her heart tightened with sorrow for the friend who destroyed herself out of envy. The end. Moral lessons. Jealousy is a silent flame. It begins small, but if left unchecked, it burns the very hand that lit it. Uju thought she was dragging Omalika down, but instead she chained herself to everlasting shame. So, in life, celebrate your friends when they win, because the spotlight you try to steal may be the very light that consumes you. Envy never rewards. Let us rejoice with others in their joy. When our circle shines, we shine too. And soon enough, it will be our turn to be celebrated. And with that, we've reached the end of today's tale. Please share this story with friends and family, so they too can enjoy and learn from it. What did you take away from this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, my dear friends, for your constant love and support. I'm sending each of you a warm virtual hug. Until next time, remember, never let anyone dim your shine. Goodbye.